Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your ITC match reaction show. It is finished. What a way to finish. Wolves 1, Ipswich Town 2. Town literally taking it with the last kick of the game. And I want to hear you this evening, or wherever you're watching it. If you're watching on Catch Up, FTA, comment for the algorithm, let us know what you think, you feel. But Town have won it, and I want to hear from you this evening. Let us know your thoughts in the live chat. There's a live link also being dropped literally this minute for you to come on and have your say live following 3 points away. A dramatic way to close it, end it. I've only just caught my breath from celebrating around the house like I'd won the Euro Millions. So if I'm a bit out of breath, do bear with me. I've got Shah Sharp said, no way, we won a game with a last minute winner. We certainly have, Shah Sharp. We certainly have. Massive that, says Richard Chandler. Shah Sharp also says, at the risk of stating the obvious, we need to start defending leads and start winning some home games. Rob says, Jack Taylor, you beauty, massive win that. Wow, says M86. Best birthday ever, says ITFC Beard. Thank goodness for that. Lots of passion coming in. But yeah, I'll jump straight to Lee Anderson. Lee, how you doing? Welcome in. Town have won a game in dramatic fashion. I've lost my breath. I'm trying to catch it. Tell us while I do that, what you thought, how you feel.
I fucking sorry, can't stop swearing. Speechless. Absolutely. Right. I mean, every game, it's just draining me, but what a header. What an absolute header. What a header. Interestingly, I just felt, I nearly said to my boy, but I didn't want to jinx. I said, they're not very good at set pieces, are they? And it's the last minute. We were thinking Burgess was gonna head it in, and there was Taylor. So pleased for Taylor, because he was starting to show a bit of promise. He's got injured and he's come back. And I thought he looked pretty good. He kept the ball quite well when he came on in tough circumstances. But shit, didn't we? God, we rode our luck. We did ride our luck.
It was 1 point wave after wave. But let's start with the ending goal. You know, you got Jack Clark with a fantastic ball in the box. That is a beautiful delivery of a set piece. A great header. VAR checked it. Obviously, ruled that Ali wasn't interfering with play, which is right. He wasn't. And But the whole game, I was screaming out, this is a team that can't defend set pieces, Lee. Why are we not sticking it in the box? Now, we saved it to the last minute, but thank God we did, because it was a great delivery, great goal, great moment for those that are there and those that aren't there.
Yeah, I think the first half, the commentary was saying that they were poor, but I think we had the Chaplin one, didn't we? I think we tried the Chaplin one with the first, and then we had another routine for the second. But the last one was just all hands to the pump and just toss it in the box and see what happens. But we didn't really get enough. A lot of the set players were a bit too far away, and we were launching them in, but we were like 5 yards inside our own box and a bit central, and they weren't really in dangerous areas, were they? But
no,
the set piece, and they were being lofted in and with no pace on them. But that one was in the I wouldn't say the corridor of uncertainty, but that had enough whip on it. And Taylor's a big lad. He's a tall boy, and he's just rose up and thumbed it in. Fantastic. I just lost sometimes the words, and
likewise
the feeling and the stress and the anxiety that goes with it. And I think the stress and anxiety comes because we're right in these games all the time. There's only 2 games where we haven't been, and we're just almost there. But you can feel the tension. You can feel that we're finding it hard to close games out well. And what I mean by that is that they had wave after wave, and we didn't just get our foot on the ball, and they're pressing us, and we've got to change it slightly to be able to control the ball for a little bit longer periods, I think.
I agree. I agree. Particularly the second half, we weren't.
And Wolves, and again, for the corner, Wolves did exactly what we were doing. They didn't come out of their own half, did they? They locked the ball up, and they were all standing on the edge of the box, and we just turned around and come back at them. I don't think you can play that game. You've got to play without fear, but you've got to get a foothold in the game if you've got the ball and they haven't got it. But oh my god! I can't remember the first goal.
No, this is it. I mean, it seems like a long time ago, Lee. But you are right in what you say. Particularly after we conceded the goal, and we'll mention that in a second. But after we conceded the goal, went to 1-1. It really was, all Wolves. It was wave after wave, and I felt if one team's going to score here, it's going to be Wolves, and we were just kept defending for our lives. But then once we weathered that storm, we actually came out of it, and towards the end of the game, we were looking like the side that was going to perhaps go on and score the goal. You know, you had Ali with a great run. Full credit to him for that run where he's trying to commit the Wolves back line. You had a few moments where you think, maybe that final piece of quality, that final touch here or there, and then of course we get the corner, and the rest is obviously now in the history books. But how much of a big win is this? Because, you know, I've built it as a relegation 6-pointer, if you like, a bit tongue in cheek, but it really is, I guess. People were saying must win before the game. You know, we've won the game. We're still in that fight. Wolves now are 3 points behind us. We're now a point behind Palace. I don't know what they've done today. I'll have to look in a second. But how much of a big win is this, you know, in terms of this moment, but also the season as a whole?
I think coming up, it just keeps us in touch, doesn't it? Because we've got a hard run of games coming now. And, well, they're all hard. Let's be. But we've got the big, what we call the big teams. But particularly away from home, we needed 3 today, and it would look pretty bleak. A lot of people probably say that we were we wouldn't be down, but that's a mountain to climb in the Premier League if we were too far adrift, and with Wolves winning as well. I just think that gives us a bit of daylight right at the very bottom, because you know, Southampton have got a good run now to pull themselves back into it. So you're just ticking off. You know, you're vying for 2 places rather than 3 places in the, well, not vying for it, but trying to pull your way out. But it just goes back, and I think the frustration and the stress is all about where we've been so close the last few weeks, and you know, probably on balance deserved another 4 points that would make us look a little bit different, would make us feel that we were probably on track.
Well, certainly those 2 points against Leicester, for sure. You know, if all things were equal, those 2 points added would obviously put us above the relegation zone and in that mix, as it were. But Leicester have been reeled back in. Everton only on 15. That win today is huge. Palace play Brighton tomorrow at 2 p.m. It's just a huge moment in the context of the season, because you felt a draw, but a defeat. I think a draw today would have felt like a defeat because of the manner of the performance in the second half, etc. But it's now huge. It's now such a moment that can springboard you, you know, in reality.
Well, you just have to. I think we'll just keep going, won't we? And we'll just keep playing the same way. And you can see that as long as they talk about managers losing the dressing room, and that's never going to happen. I don't think at Ipswich. Not at the moment. But you can see that they're still believing in what they're trying to do, and they still keep going. So I don't see us falling away because of that, because we've lost heart or anything. I just feel that with that next step is just to be able to take care of the ball a little bit better at some times. I mean, we've taken one big step by not conceding under pressure, which is good.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
But that next step is then maybe to get a little bit more control on the ball. But just a couple of mentions, if I may.
Go for it, and I'll bring Richard Chandler in next.
Cameron Burgess again. My God.
Him and O'Shea are such a formidable partnership. Formidable.
They've formed that. And the one where I thought it was Burgess, but my lad said it was, because I nearly fell out I was sitting on the sofa today, believe it or not.
Shock.
Nearly went over the back of the sofa, where O'Shea came in when it looked like a certain goal, and he's just got his foot on it and it's got it. I mean, those two were absolutely immense. And again, I've got to put my hat out to Delap. I know I probably mention him every time I come on here, but to set that goal up, the way he did. There's been a lot of talk about him, about the way that, you know, he's a spent force, and he looked tired in the Bournemouth game, which I think he does. But I think he's been told to manage the game a little bit better because they need him on the pitch a bit longer. Yeah. So I think sometimes he's got to know when, and it's like when you're coaching kids, you've got to know when to use your energy and when to conserve it. And top strikers do. Haaland, I'm not comparing them to, you know, in that respect, but at the moment, but Haaland, he'll run, and then he'll have 5 minutes where he's just walking about. Well, he's got to get himself right. And if they spring a trap or the ball comes, he's got to have enough energy to be able to get him behind or do his bit. So I wonder if there's a bit of that.
Bit of in-game management.
Rather than just burn him out for 70 minutes and hoof him off. You know, it might, you know, we're going to need 75, we're going to need 80 minutes or something like that out of you. So just manage your energy levels a little bit. I wonder, you know, so then he's labouring about a little bit. So I just wonder that, you know, with him. Yeah, no, sure. And again, I want to mention Jack. Well, I've mentioned Taylor already, but I thought he's looking good when he's come on, and he's looking every bit the money that we spent on him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clark is a bit. Both Clarks seem to be yeah, I'm not so sure. I mean, their goal led from us, from the ping pong and not keeping hold of the ball. Not necessarily always Clark's fault, but that was at that moment where we were still trying to play, but we were so static that they were just coming in and getting the ball off us because they had momentum. That's when you got to be a little bit savvy. You got to I'm not going to say plan B, but you've got to have that ball in behind, turn the defence, get up the field, and I think that's what Jack Clark has been bought for. And I know he had a couple of moments. There's times when he's got his back to goal. That's when you need a little bit more from him to be able to turn a bit like Amari can, and just release that pressure, break that line, and take the ball, carry the ball forward. He's okay when he's got space in front of him and he's getting the ball and he's facing forward, but he's got to be able to develop his game where he's getting it from, with his back to goal, and he can turn a little bit more for me.
Absolutely, fair point. Fair point. Lee, appreciate you coming on a Saturday night. Enjoy your evening, my man. All the best. We've got some comments. Kieran says Jack Taylor back-to-back scoring goals against Wolves. For anyone doubting how mad I went after our goal and how much I ran around my house, I'm still bright red from the excursion. I went nuts. I've celebrated like it was a World Cup winning goal. Heidi says, when do these games become enjoyable to watch? I don't know, Heidi. I wish it would happen soon. Burgess is just so good at the moment, says Stephen Peck. Rob Holmes, Burgess and O'Shea building quite the partnership. They really are. Shy. Is it just possible we've already had our bad luck? Maybe our luck is turning. Get a few fit and maybe we can turn this around. Well, maybe you want a bit of luck yourself. Don't forget we are partnered with East Anglian Air Ambulance Lottery. Support the East Anglian Air Ambulance and their lifesaving work by playing their weekly East Anglian Air Ambulance Lottery. Easiest way to play is online. My breath is still way not there. Sign up now for just £1 per ticket for a chance to win one of 18 weekly prizes, ranging from £50 to £1,000. Players must be aged 18 or over. Please be gamble aware. I need some oxygen. Trevor Ramos, great win in that goal from Taylor to push off another Murich mistake. Richard Chandler, welcome in. Murich mistake. Murich, again, it just feels like every time I talk about Murich, it's always I thought you played really well today, except, and then there's a moment, and perhaps that goal is that moment. How did you see it?
I actually don't think that it's a mistake from him. I think the guy has hit it really well, and
fair point.
That's no different to Leif Davis smashing that one in from a tight angle last season in the home game. That's not a keeper mistake. The mistake is the defence letting the ball get past them to get to the shot being that close.
What's bad?
There's a massive narrative at the moment amongst some of our fans about wanting Murich out. Oh, that seems very similar to Ladke. When we first had Ladke after 10 games, everyone wanted him never to play again. And everyone was not wanting to play against Sunderland in the first game in the Championship when Walton was injured the day before the game. And now all of a sudden he's the best keeper in the world and we should never have let him go and he shouldn't have turned us down. And it's all nonsense.
Keepers, it takes a while for goalkeepers to build trust.
It's keepers as well. Anana made 2 worldies, one of them being the Premier League save of the week month against us. Yeah. And he let an absolute shocker in against Forest. It's keepers. A keeper makes a mistake and it's a goal. An outfield player makes a mistake. And I actually think that our worst player today was Amari.
Okay, tell us why.
Because he kept slowing the play up. Like Bertel said on the commentary that I watched from overseas, obviously. Like Bertel said on the commentary, every time we had a pacey attack, he kept slowing it up. And then he went and got caught offside by about 10 yards when he was looking right across the line because he couldn't be asked to get back on side.
I hear those points. I don't disagree with those points. And he did slow the play down at key moments throughout the course of the 90. But I also felt, particularly when he shifted to the right-hand side, he came alive and he was committing players and actually thought towards the dying embers of the game, he was really trying to take the game by the scruff of the neck, and I was really seeing a player who, was trying to drag his side over the line. He was always involved, wanting the ball, showing the ball, committing a defender, and really towards the end of the game, actually was really impressed with him. But I hear what you're saying. I don't disagree with you.
Well, he always wants the ball, and I'm not criticising him for that. He's a young player and he's keen to get the ball. But I just think at times his decision making is not great, and I think. And loads of fans have been slagging Burns off, and I think he had his best game by a mile today. How on earth whatever. Now I can't say his name. The guy that got booked after slapping Burns. How he hasn't got a second yellow for that, because
he should have two yellows back to back, shouldn't he? Because it was a slap.
It's a yellow, borderline red, as it is. Because if the guy pulling Cucurella's hair is a red card, how is that not a red card?
Well, this is it. Yeah, I was very surprised. I was very surprised at a few key decisions today from the referee. But I'll challenge you on the Burns comment. Best game today. I disagree with that a little bit. He showed flashes. He had that ball across into the lap where maybe it should have been a better ball. Would you go along with that? Do you think the ball into the lap there was what was needed?
I think
it was like sort of knee height.
I think he's put it in at pace, and there's an argument that the lap could run onto that and it's likely to go in rather than trying to knee it in. Do you know what I mean? I think it's difficult. I think
no.
We're in the Premier League. Defenders and players are a lot better, and I think him and probably, well, not Burgess, because Burgess has been outstanding again today. But there's some of our players that people are like, oh well, they're not good enough. They're not good enough for the Premier League, and they've played 8 or 9 games. Some of them, and that isn't a. How can you judge that? How can you say that after that many games?
No, I agree. I completely agree. And I think actually, you know, there's always going to be moments in a game, Richard, where players could do better. Always. Doesn't matter if you're discussing the very top level of player or right down to, you know, to the lowest in grass, you know, in the pyramid. Players can always do better because they're not robots. They're human beings. They sometimes make a poor selection of a pass, or sometimes they touch it, lets them down, or whatever it might be. But today I felt, and I want your thoughts on it, I thought every single player battled, pulled their socks up, gave everything they had for the shirt, left it on the field, didn't give up, could have capitulated at 1-1, wave after wave, could have so many different things they could have done, but they didn't, and they hung in there to then go and win the game. Every single player, you know, deserves every ounce of credit this afternoon.
100%. I think every single player's going to be coming off that field feeling like they've run a marathon. They're going to be shattered, and they're probably like that every game anyway. But every game last season, every game League One, the commentary said 5 of the players started today were League One, but actually she missed a player out, and there were 6 of our starting 11 played in League One.
Yeah,
that's phenomenal that we've got that level of progression. And that's down to McKenna, because he's got those players that weren't considered good enough to be the Premier League, to be Premier League players within 2 years of them being League One.
Yeah.
And I think the whole of this, some of the nonsense that people are writing in the week after we've lost to Bournemouth, McKenna doesn't know the best team, McKenna doesn't know what this, that, the other. I'm surprised he can cross the road, given what some of our fans think of him after last week, and they'll be saying completely the opposite today.
Well, that's football in general, isn't it? You know, you're a hero when you win, and you're a zero when you don't, and you don't know what you're doing, etc. But it's a great win this afternoon. It's a springboarder. Joe says Ashton will give you oxygen, Gov. Cheers, Joe. Appreciate that. I wish he would, because I was juicing the goal, Rich, because I celebrated like I'd won the Euro Millions. 155 million quid has hit my account. That's how I celebrated it.
I did, but unfortunately I do it every goal, and my dog doesn't like it very much. So he goes nuts for about 5 minutes after I've gone nuts. But what I was going to say is that I do think that every single season under McKenna and under this ownership, we've strengthened well in January. That's going to come. And every season under McKenna, we've had a better second half of the season than we've had first. So all the people saying we're definitely going to be down, don't believe a word of it.
Hey, nothing's done till it's done, you know. And
we're only 3 points off 15th.
This is it. I mean, today, you know, I think someone said in the chat earlier, today, if a defeat today would be in the first now in the relegation coffin, and it's hard to disagree with that. But we didn't lose today. We didn't draw today. We won the game today. We're now really put ourselves back in the mix. We've been close in several games in the first part of the season with players that have stepped up to the Premier League for the first time in many cases. You know, with some VAR decisions going against us in others. Nothing's done till it's done, Rich. Nothing is done until it's done, and we kind of sort of taught us that over the last 2 years. You know, a fairy tales happen. It happened with McKenna.
Totally. And Arsenal have drawn at home to Everton today.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy.
And Everton are appalling. They were not great against us, and we should have been 1-0 up before we then didn't come out of first gear. And they're not a good side, and they've gone to the Emirates and drawn. Anyone can do anything against any team in this division, so people writing us off at their peril. And I would say that the commentary was right. Our pressing in the first half was phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree. I really do agree with that. Richard, man of the match before I let you go and bring in Mr. Parry, beep himself.
I think there's so many that you could pick, but I'm going to go Burgess because I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah, I really agree. Richard, have a great Saturday night. Look after yourself. All right, all the best. Cheers for popping on and clicking that link. Want to join the show? Hit the link in the chat and come on and have your say, regardless of your opinion, whatever it is about any town player, the situation, window, whatever it might be. Come on and have your say. Ross says we have January coming up and players to come back from injury. Harp said, who thought VAR would step in to disallow the goal due to Al Hamadi? I was worried because I'm always worried when VAR gets involved. You never know which way it's going to go. Andy says, I didn't know, correct, Richard, when we keep us up, says Andy Barrel. Appreciate the comment, Andy. A says, agree, Gov. Talakis is in the mix. January window is massive for us. Some great comments coming in. Love it. Can't keep up with them all, but so keep them coming and I'll get to them as soon as I possibly can. Mr. Parry, let's start with the first goal. It's received no attention so far. Delap doing what Delap does best, taking absolutely nothing and making a great chance out of it. Then it's ping ball stuff in the box, and it's like play some Benny Hill music over the top of it. It wouldn't look out of place or sound out of place. And then it goes in off a Wolves player, 1-0. How did you see the goal and Delap's performance today?
Well, that's why there's a lot of people looking at Delap, because he's not a Haaland. He's not just a goal scorer. He can be he is a goal scorer as well, but he's more than Haaland. He'll get down and dirty and he'll make the goals as well. Haaland very rarely does that. He just stands there and waits for it. But he will create a goal from nothing. And that was effectively just a ball from our box that he was like, well, this is my ball. I don't care what you think. And his pace and his power and his strength kept the defender off the ball. He ended up getting the ball and putting the ball across the pitch, across the goal. And it was fantastic work. And that's what you want from a striker. That's what we miss when Delap goes off. I'm not saying Ali can't do that, but he does it in a different way. He's a little bit more, Well,
he's pace, isn't he? He's more of a speed player behind last line. And we saw glimpses of that when he came on, actually.
Ali's more street than what he's not as creative. He's more street. You've got like street footballers and you've got like normal footballers. He's one of those people who'll try and use his pace and fancy flick. So he's a little bit different. And I think we do need someone who's a little bit more like Delap to replace him, because then we do lose something when he goes off. But he gives a fantastic amount of energy. Every single time the ball's played up, he's up there and he's holding up the ball and he's putting a little flick to somebody else. The amount of times he just tapped it through to another player to get us up the pitch. It was just all over the place for the first half, and they had no idea how to deal with him, and it was wonderful. And the goal itself, well, I think it was more a clown show with their defence, because they just didn't know what to do. I think it was unlucky at first off with Hutchison, because it just went behind him a little bit and he couldn't get his foot round, so he had to check back. And in checking back, it meant the defence got into position and then he just hit one of the defenders. It happens. You know what I mean? We were just lucky it went out to Chaplin. Credit to Chaplin for following up, because he did, sometimes people don't, but our team, a lot of the players, follow up into the box. And he followed up to the outside of the box. It hit the player, came to Chaplin. He was there. It whacked it. He hits it again. Bit of pinball. It goes in. Were we lucky to go in? Yeah, but we deserved it. At the end of the day, it was a great performance. It was a great run at goal. It was a great cross. Couple of great strikes. It ended up going in. I think it was clown show defending. And I think the defence, we could have exploited the defence many, many times, because the defence was very, very open first half. And this goes back to what I'm saying. It's not always about the mistakes. It's the reason why we're not seeing games out. It's the fact we're not being clinical enough. We need to be more clinical. The top and bottom of it is one goal doesn't win us games. Never has. Yeah, because I don't trust us to keep a clean sheet this season. We've only kept one all season, and I think we were lucky to do that. Yeah. So if you think you're only going to keep, if you're not going to keep clean sheet, one goal ain't going to cut it. Best you're going to get is a draw in any game. Yeah. So the fact we got 2 goals today for me was an important milestone. There's a few important milestones for me. The fact we got the fact we got 2 goals. Yeah. The fact that we were in the lead, we got pegged back, and we took the lead again. That's something else we haven't done, and that was a milestone for me. Yeah, and held on to that lead. And also, I think that corner from Clark, he's just needed something to give him some confidence. Yeah. And that would have given him the biggest boost.
It's a great ball.
One minute, a few seconds to go. Yeah, he puts in a sweet cross from a corner, just nodded in, bang, and the confidence he'll get from that is phenomenal. And Jack Taylor's header was superb. I just put out simple, great corner, great header, goal, boom. That's all you can say about that. And the simple fact is, for me, I think we deserved it. Yeah, you can turn around and say we hung on a bit. Everybody's going to have a go.
That's the ebb and flow of a game, isn't it? Particularly an away game. You're going to have those moments where you're under pressure. You've got to weather them out.
They started off for about 5-10 minutes, giving us a bit of go. Then we came into it a little bit like we did at Forest. They started off, and then we came into it. And then second half, we started off a bit. Then they come back into it. And then they eventually got the goal, and then they started dominating us a bit. And then they sort of like, I don't know, did they give up, or did we find a third wind from somewhere? But then we came back into it, and then it looked like they didn't have any ideas.
We did, yeah, and I agree. And just to go back to Ali and Delap, you're right, they are different players, but I actually felt that change of pace in today's game was really, really beneficial. And Ali being more of a flicks pace in behind, last shoulder, was really testing for that Wolves back line, particularly as they pressed on for that winner. They needed the win just as badly as we kind of needed the win, but more so maybe at home and manager under pressure, etc. And there was space for him. And I really felt that was a good change of pace between a hold-up man, a player who can make his own chances, but he's strong, he's physical, etc., and a player who plays on the last shoulder, the last man, the last shoulder, and goes in behind. And several times where I really thought Ali was just unlucky, particularly that one moment towards the end of the game. He's beaten one or two players, taken them one way, taken them again, and has a shot on goal. And I actually thought that change of pace was good.
I don't get me wrong. I wasn't.
No, I know you wasn't. I'm just sort of saying. I thought that change of pace was good.
Bringing Ali on, yeah. After Delap in this game, yeah. I think it was a very, because they'd just about figured out how to deal with Delap, and then you're changing Delap to something else, and all of a sudden they've got to figure something else out.
And the more players they committed, the bigger the spaces in behind, which is really plays to his strength.
So I think it did open up options for him, and he did look quite threatening. I thought that shot Burns had when he hit it across the post, that was a fantastic effort. Mm-hmm. And then the cross to Delap just caught off his knee. We had opportunities. And I think going forward, they're going to learn from this and say, look, we've got to, and we can take these opportunities. So I have no fear. We're at 12 points now. We're 1 point behind. 1 point behind Palace, yeah. You think 2 points behind Leicester, yeah. Palace don't play till tomorrow, but we're only 1 point behind, yeah. And everyone was sat there saying, "Oh well, if we don't win, it's going to be curtains." Well, everybody thought that against Tottenham. We don't know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen on the day. Nobody thought Man City were going to turn into Yeovil. You know what I mean? Everything happens like, nobody thought that Liverpool would draw today or Arsenal would draw today. Yeah. These things are happening and nobody knows these things are going to happen. This is one of the weirdest Premier Leagues I've seen in a while. We're like 7 points behind United. All it takes is like a game, and all they need to do is underestimate us like, say, Spurs did, and we will do the business, because one thing we are good at, we're good at what we're good at. Yeah. We might not be the best team in the world, but when it comes to doing what we do, we're good at what we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all we need sometimes.
Steve, I've got a few minutes left. Just only a few minutes left to be quick on this response to the last question. Before we do, we are live again tomorrow, 1 p.m, 1 till 2 for more in-depth reaction. Do join us. Me and Matt and Ben, Milk Train Man and Ben Adams will be joining us as well. But Steve, Jens Kajust, the Dr. Zach King in the chat says, I'll be happy to stay up, and B, pay for Kajust. He's getting better and better, and there's lots of love in the live chat for Jens Kajust. How did you see his performance today? Rolls Royce of a player, isn't he?
I love him. I really do. You know, there's nobody in that number 8 role for me. I'm sorry. He just picked on 3 or 4 occasions today, just picked up the ball and just drove through the midfield, and none of them could get anywhere near him. And he found a pass at the end of it. One of them went past it to Hutchison. Hutchison had a whack on goal. You know, it was just sublime. You know, and you need that sometimes. You know, when Phillips is there, he doesn't give you that outlet running into midfield. You know, Taylor does it a bit, yeah. But I think Taylor's better late on in games where he can come on and just run and sometimes have a shot. Yeah. You know, starting the game and developing the game. I think you need someone like Jens who's just going to, you know, get the ball off Morsey, pick it up, and sometimes if the space, just run into the space. And that's what he does, and he does it so well. So I'd be quite happy to have Jens any day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. Absolute Rolls Royce of a player. Really good. He's getting better and better week in, week out.
Even if he went down, I'd hope there's a deal to be done.
Well, the deal is, isn't it? You know, as Hamish says here, Hamish says it's baked into the loan deal. But the deal is that if you stay up,
but if we go down, he's still not going to play at Napoli. Maybe there's still a deal to be done.
I think if we go down, I fear it's a 6-day Peralta situation where you fall in love with a player and you don't sadly see him again.
Depends how the player feels, doesn't it? Football's changed since 6 days.
He's a Premier League. No, he's a Premier League player. Because Brentford were after him, weren't they? Until the deal broke down last minute. So you think, having seen what they're seeing now with him in playing,
did they?
Yeah, well, but then a season at Ipswich, if he gets better and better as he has been doing, you fear. This is my fear. I don't know. I'm not an agent. I'm not a chief executive, etc. But I fear that if you don't stay in the Premier League, you know.
Oh, by the way, just to confirm it, that Al Nurti. Yeah, he got sent off after the match.
I didn't see any of the scenes at full time. I didn't even see who scored our goal, Steve. I saw the ball hit the back of the net, and I was off running like one of the horses on Grand National Day, round my house, jumping over things. I mean, I was going wild.
Just so it cheers everyone up. He got his red card at 95th minute. 95th minute, I think, for the fighting after the match. So he did get sent off anyway. So yeah, that'll not do him any good.
No, this is it. I didn't see any of those scenes, and I didn't even see. I had to look it up before I came live. Who scored the goal? Because, like I say, I was off into the race.
I was terrifying my cats. Don't worry about it. I was legging it up and down. You know, I was legging it up and down, and I shouldn't have been doing it because I'm still not well after my flu. So
sometimes the emotion takes over, Steve, and away we go. But Steve, thank you for joining us this afternoon. I really appreciate it. You look after yourself. We've got someone in the chat who says, "I'm blocked." No, you're not blocked. I've just seen your comment. You're not blocked. Leave your comment in the chat. What you're thinking and feeling this evening on ITFC's big away win. Hughes. Hamish says Morsey and Kajus, a good combination in the middle. Yeah, Morsey and Kajus, Burgess and O'Shea. That's a real starting spine there, isn't it, of partnerships in the centre of your field. And they always say if your spine of your team is strong, the rest will follow. And you feel those 4 players particularly are starting to form that partnership and give us a real good. There goes my glasses, 200 quid's worth. Bye-bye. Sorry. And a real good spine of the team. Hamish Hutchinson should have buried the chance, led to the own goal. Just hit it first time. What was he doing? JKC, brilliant result. What happened at the end with the Wolves guy? I got no idea. I didn't see it. But anyway, thank you for watching us. We're live again, as I say, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Hit the like button, subscribe. Join us then for more honest, in-depth, full reaction as the three of us, myself, Matt and Ben, discuss what has been an up, a down, and then an absolute wild end. But thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy your Saturday night. God bless. Bye-bye. You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down low and I am blue.
going crazy from just the thought of you.